Hi, English learners and English fans from around the world, and welcome to Question of the Week. This is the very first one, so you're in on it from the start. Good job. And this week's question is: what's your most memorable aeroplane flight? And it could be a good experience, it could be a bad experience. Okay, so the question: what's your most memorable aeroplane flight? And this question is basically asking about experiences. And similar questions to this are like, what's your most dramatic journey? What's your most memorable holiday? What's your longest road trip? So these are similar questions, but today's question is, what's your most memorable, good or bad, aeroplane flight? So how is it going to work today? So first, I will share with you my most memorable aeroplane flight, and then I welcome you in the comments to squeeze out that English from inside you, is to share your experience of your most memorable aeroplane flight. And I'm sure you have some great stories. Okay, so let's begin. Hi, Chris. Could you share with us today your most memorable aeroplane flight? Well, yes, of course I can. That's a great question, by the way. And I have a great story for everyone here. So, my most memorable aeroplane flight, well, it happened quite a few years ago when I was much, much younger than I am now. And I was traveling with a friend in Nepal. To give you the setting of the stories, we had booked a flight from Kathmandu to Yangon, which is in Myanmar, and we had a transfer in Dhaka in Bangladesh. And it was quite a special transfer because we had 2 days in Dhaka. Anyway, so we booked this flight, and the first thing that happened was that there was a delay of 2 days. Normally, I think for most people, a delay of 2 days would be a nightmare, but this was a special time for me and my friends. We were traveling, we had time on our hands. It actually turned out to be very good for us because we were put up in a hotel, much better than the accommodation that we usually stayed in, and we were provided with 3 meals a day. So for us, it wasn't a problem. Okay, so we didn't have any time in Bangladesh or in Dhaka to go out and discover the city. So we had 2 extra days in Kathmandu, not a bad thing, great place. And then we caught our flight. Yeah, we were using Bangladeshi Airlines, and we got our flight. We flew from Kathmandu to Dhaka, but we had missed our connection because of the 2 day delay. We missed our connection to Yangon, and they only had one flight a week. So it didn't look good. We had a visa for Myanmar and we wanted to get in. I can't remember the details of the visa, but they actually offered us a flight with Thai Airways to go from Dhaka to Bangkok and then to Yangon. And I've forgotten a very important detail, and it's about my friend, Chris. Yeah, same name as me. My friend was called Chris. So we're the two Chris's traveling together. And I forgot a very, very important detail about him. Because when it comes to flying, he was a chicken, a sissy, a coward. He hated flying, especially takeoff and landing. And unfortunately, all flights have a takeoff and landing. And he got really nervous when there was turbulence. Luckily, not all flights have turbulence, only sometimes. So from Kathmandu to Dhaka, he was his usual self, his usual, oh, hate flying, complaining. He was brave enough to get onto the plane, but he moaned a lot, and he wasn't really a good flight companion because he actually caused me to be a little bit nervous. So anyway, this is quite an important detail because after our flight was changed to a different airline, to Thai Airline, things changed, and the most important thing that changed was that Thai Airlines provided alcohol. So from the flight from Kathmandu to Dhaka, there was no alcohol because Bangladeshi Airlines is a Muslim airlines and they didn't provide alcohol at that time. But Thai Airlines does and did at that time. So from our flight going from Dhaka to Bangkok, my friend was, naturally very nervous about this. And it was the usual story. Oh, I hate flying. Oh my god, are we gonna die? And I have to endure this for, I think it's about 2 hours from Kathmandu to Dhaka. Anyway, after we got onto the Thai aeroplane, it started basically the same. He was very nervous with the takeoff. And, once we got up into the sky, he was still a bit nervous. But then, we could relax, undo our seatbelts. And the air hostess come along and said, what do you want? What do you want to drink? And so we had I think we started off with some beer. We had some wine. They even offered us some brandy. I don't know how long it is from Dhaka to Bangkok. I don't think it's actually that long, maybe 3 hours. But we had quite a few drinks in that time, and there was a big change in my friend. He started smiling, he started relaxing, and he was actually giggling, and we were quite amazed at the what Thai Airlines offered us. So we had quite a few drinks, and by the time we got to Bangkok, we were a little bit tipsy. In Bangkok, it was a bit of a rush, as I remember. We were sort of running to get our flight from Bangkok to Yangon. So we got on this flight, and again, it's Thai Airlines, so great service. And as we came to Yangon, the weather was actually pretty terrible. There was turbulence, there was thunderstorms, lightning outside. The rain was lashing against the plane, but I think because of the alcohol, not because of his courage, but because of the alcohol, he was actually pretty relaxed. He was even enjoying the bad weather and a little bit of turbulence. And we were both, actually, I was enjoying it as well. It was a real fun trip. And we came into Yangon airport in the rain, a little bit of turbulence, and the weather was terrible there. And we landed, and it was, so that's the story of my most memorable flight. And I think the big takeaway from that flight was, it was because of alcohol, but it was how my friend changed during the flight. And also, the start, the 2-day delay, which is not a common thing for most flights, thankfully. But in our case, it didn't bother us. So that's my story of my most memorable flights. And now I would love it that you share with everyone your most memorable flights. So perhaps it doesn't involve 2-day delays or a change in airlines. It could be more dramatic than mine. It maybe something special happened. Perhaps you met your loved one on the plane, or perhaps something that I can't think of happened to you during a flight. So please share in the comments below your experiences, and I look forward to reading them. That is the question of the week, and there will be a lot more questions of the week coming up every week. I look forward to doing that, and I look forward to reading about your experiences too. So that's it from Question of the Week.